get to 1 minute. We have to get to 1 minute without cursing, but welcome back to No Party Preference. My name's Josh, and I'm here today with good buddy Adam.
Is it weird that I'm trying not to think about saying an F word?
Yeah, it is. Well, I don't know. Maybe it isn't because I'm also trying to think about it like super hard. Like, I almost can't concentrate this first minute. You should just skip the first minute. We should name the chapter of the first minute "No Cursing Minute," and then like that's it, and then intro. Because this is so difficult because especially with this episode because obviously it's titled "It's Tariff Time" and I'm making fun of the Mighty Morphin Tariff Rangers, which is like. It's tariff time. But okay, we passed a minute. We're fucked. We are fucked. We are so fucked. We are fucked beyond all repair. FUBAR is like, it's real now. It's so here, and we're just fucking screwed out of our asses. And I hate to like sit here and say I told you so, because I've been saying this whole time talking about these tariffs and shit. But god damn it, I'm not the only one who's been saying this shit. Many people have been saying this shit about the tariffs. We did that whole episode talking about the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of like the 1930s to try to get us out of the Depression and how that completely just made it worse. And now we're not in a depression, but now we just made this shit worse. And fuck, man, I didn't mean to cut you off if you were going to say something. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just holding my mic far enough so I don't make breathing noises. But
so I was looking at, obviously, for those of you that don't know, the tariffs went into effect. Oh, they were announced on Wednesday, April 2nd. Just a few days. Just a few days ago. And it was very strategic the way they did this. They waited until the stock market closed. And then they had a press conference with Trump, and he brought out this fucking stupid ass chart, and he's sitting there holding it up like, look at this chart, man, dude. They fucking put tariffs on islands that are like unoccupied, like no one lives there. Penguins live there. It's like occupied by penguins, and they put a fucking 25% tariff on this island.
Fuck them too.
And yeah, fuck the penguins. And so as soon as this fucking news all came out, the stock market, the futures for like the next day's trading immediately started fucking going down. And it looked like it was going to be pretty fucking bad.
It was pretty bad.
And it was pretty fucking bad because on Thursday, it was Wednesday, April 2nd. So on Thursday, this shit just fucking exploded. Went down. Like, I think the stock market ended down like 1,900 points. And then we all thought it was okay, it can't get much worse than this. Oh no, the next day, 2,200 or 2,300 points fucking down. 2,300 points it lost. So that's bad, right? Now, in the context of stock market dumps or downs, the Dow Jones has only lost over 2,000 points 4 times in history. And that was the 4th time that it happened.
Was the 3rd time 2008?
One of them was in 2008. One of them was in fucking right after 9/11. And then in like the 1980, like the 87 or whatever, I think it was. Because I took screenshots of the thing because I wanted to be accurate, 1,000% sure as to what I was talking about. And so on the Dow Jones, the highest daily... Oh, no, one of them, it was during COVID. I'm sorry. The 2 of them were during COVID. And... for the Dow Jones, two of them were doing during COVID, and the other 2 were just this last fucking 3. It was 3. What was it? 4/4. Yeah, April 4th, 2025, and the other 3 were in the beginning of March of 2020 when COVID was just fucking like exploding, and the shit dropped. But not to be outdone, I mean, the day before is number 6 on all-time lowest point drop. Now, when you look at it in terms of like percentage-wise, we lost in 2 days, we lost about 9% on the Dow Jones, right? So if you go through and you look at like the largest percentage drops, that would be probably right around number like 6 or 7 overall over the course of these 2 days. The highest percentage drop being the 1987 stock crash. Percentage-wise, it was only 1,700 points, but percentage-wise, it was 22% of the Dow Jones was lost. So you click over and you go to the
So for people that don't understand, or when money is lost in the Dow Jones, where does it go? Like figuratively or even literally?
It just disappears. It literally it's okay. So I don't know what the number was on the Dow Jones in value that was lost, and we were gonna get to it on about the S&P 500. With the S&P 500 is like the tech shit.
I thought that was NASDAQ.
No, I believe it's. Wait a minute. Maybe I am wrong. I thought it was S&P 500. S&P. Let me just Google it real quick.
I thought NASDAQ was related to maybe newer companies.
The S&P 500 is the single gauge of large cap U.S. equities, but what's the index tracking stock performance of 500 leading? Oh, it's the Fortune 500
like Fortune 500 companies.
That's the S&P. The NASDAQ is the tech ones.
Yeah.
Dow Jones is like it's like your general shit. Yeah. And like your industrials or whatever.
Yeah.
They lost $5 trillion in market value. So $5 trillion of value just disappeared.
So look, it's in the broadest terms. If let's say people bought into stocks, that money that they bought any amount of shares with, so $9 trillion of that is fucking gone. Like gone. The value of it is gone, and it's
spread out over the whole index or whatever. But like if you bought $100 of a stock, right, and it lost whatever 8% or 9%, well that's only $9, right?
Yeah.
But if you had like a lot of these major like hedge funds, if you had $100 million, well now you lost. Or if you had billions of dollars, now you've lost into like the billions. And so when you add it all up, $5 trillion worth of wealth or value is just evaporated in 2 days. It was gone. And this is like insane that this is happening, and literally Trump is going, the government is literally going, nah, that's not that big of a deal, it's cool, after they were just basically saying, oh yeah, this is going to have no effect on the stock market. And then as the stock market is tanking, oh, it's not that bad, it's okay, it's not like this is this is like not the fourth time this has ever happened, it's okay,
just keep moving the goalpost.
Yeah, basically. And so then in response to this, I kind of, you can understand the logic. The logic is fucked, okay? But there is a base level that, okay, kind of common sense would make some kind of sense out of this. And that's essentially, okay, if you are going to put tariffs on these countries, you're going to stop people from buying shit from other countries to make shit here, or to buy shit that comes in here, right? That's like kind of the base like goal of it. Now, sure, you might do that. You will probably end up possibly doing that. But the one thing that's fucked, like with cars, right? We talked a little bit about this before, but there's a blanket 25% tariff on all vehicles, right? That's not that are non-made in America. And that's not including like for Japan and South Korea, who make cars that they sell here in the United States. They got an additional like 50 to 60% each tariff just out of these new tariffs. The 25% is also on top of that for cars. So any shit that comes from them, the 25% blanket tariff is going on. And then you've got this additional, so it's like 75% of a tariff is going on to these cars.
It's like paying for one whole other car.
Essentially, yeah. And so the goal is to stop foreign countries from selling shit here and making them come here and make the stuff and hire people in America to do the job. Problem with that being is I saw this thing that was talking about, okay, what they pay. They were just talking about the car manufacturers in America. Okay, they pay on average $6 an hour for people in Mexico to make the cars or make the shit, right? In Canada, they pay them an average of like $12 an hour. In the United States, the United Auto worker makes $90 an hour on average to make the cars, right? So you can't, it's still cheaper to essentially pay the fucking tariff. And just like the prices would not go up as high if they just fucking paid the tariff and just passed it on to the consumer. Prices would go even higher if they fucking built the shit here. And then the problem being, I used this carrot analogy, and I used it with somebody. I just want to preface it. I used it with somebody, and They literally, like, their response to it was literally, well, we don't eat that many carrots, so it's okay. And I'm like, I'm just using carrots as a goddamn example. It's not like it's a fuck. I'm not literally talking about carrots. This is a fucking example to express the concept of how this is not going to work. And the example or the analogy being carrots. If our need for carrots is 1,000 carrots a day, but we only make 50 carrots a day here in the United States, and we import 950 carrots, right? We import 95% of our fucking carrots. You put this, let's say, a 50% tariff where now 95% of the carrots that are out there, if you bring them into the US, they're going to cost 50% more. The American made, carrots, they're still going to be able to sell them. They'll probably sell them for 40% more because they're just still going to undercut, but they're going to take advantage of the market and try to ingest some of that profit, right? Well, even if all the other companies decide to say, fuck, we're not selling carrots. No one's buying carrots at this 50% markup. We're just going to stop fucking buying carrots and we're going to get out of the carrot business or whatever. Cool. Well, we still need 950 extra carrots a day. So where are we going to get those from? Are there any, you have to build the infrastructure to do that, right? So you have to have people that are willing to do the carrot manufacturing. You have to have people that have the capital to invest in building a carrot manufacturing facility. You have to hire people and pay them the prevailing minimum wage in the United States, which is high. And it's find people willing to make carrots, right?
And all the equipment and that's possibly not even sourced here in the U.S. that would probably add to the cost itself.
Yeah, and so there is a massive expense, not only in monetary value, but in time value with building this carrot infrastructure, right? To build the carrots here. Now, you take this same analogy and you apply it to every other industry in the not even in the United States, but every other industry that exists in the world that would have to come here because, quite frankly, as people are not realizing, is the United States it's not currently and has not been for a very long time a manufacturing-based economy. We are a service-based economy. And the service-based economy does not support a lot of this manufacturing, which is why we've gone from, okay, we can send shit to China and make it cheaper so that we can sell shit and make more of a profit and still have things be relatively kind of cheap, right? That's the whole reason why we moved over to this non-manufacturing based economy. And the problem now being, like, Apple's talking about spending $5 billion or $500 billion to build iPhones here because they were looking at the price of like a new iPhone with these tariffs is going to be like $3,200. And same thing goes for obviously Samsung and all the other ones, but like they just use iPhones as an example with the tariffs for what iPhones or Apple will have to pay to import the shit that they make in China, right?
Yeah, talk about short-sightedness for all these companies that probably donated to the current president and also campaigned for him or had aligned themselves with this president, and then to find out like people aren't going to be able to afford their products anymore because of all the tariffs that are going to happen.
And
it's
what the fuck, man? And here's the weird thing too is all these heads of industry were all at the inauguration, right? They were all front row at the inauguration. They've been in contact and everything. They've been a part of this whole process. I don't believe for a second that they didn't know this was coming. Like, they knew this was happening. They knew it was coming. And personally, I think this is being done on purpose to crash essentially the economy and devalue the dollar. And the reason I think they want to devalue the dollar is because by using these tariffs, they're trying to bully everyone else into saying, hey, we want you to be all in on the dollar. And at the same time, we're going to lower the value of said dollar. So we get everybody fully committed onto this dollar train. It's lower. So that will then essentially make all of our debt almost disappear overnight. If we devalue the value of a dollar, it'll have a reverse effect on like the debt. And they're kind of like, it's almost like declaring bankruptcy as a country, and like, but you're doing it by devaluing your dollar or by your currency. And so
end up like fucking Zimbabwe dollars.
Yeah, basically. Well, that's the problem in the interim is there's going to be this period where, yeah, maybe eventually in the next 5 to 10 years, we will get a lot of manufacturing back because of this. But the problem is will we make it the next 5 to 10 years until that were to happen? And companies like Nike have already, like Nike is one of the big ones that they've talked about. And China basically said, fuck you, America. We're going to go ahead and we're going to hit you with the same exact tariff that you hit us. And these reciprocal tariffs are not necessarily reciprocal. The formula they used was completely fucked. It's not a reciprocal tariff. It's they calculated in current tariffs other countries charge us plus what they're phrasing as currency manipulation, which who knows what the fuck that even means. And then somebody said that they actually used AI to figure out this formula for the tariff, and the AI came up with the formula.
What are you talking about? This administration used AI
they used
to come up with
ChatGPT or something. They used, and somebody was showing like the math on it. And I believe that some asshole just was like, you know what? Let's punch this into ChatGPT.
Oh, look, it curates the exact same answer.
Yeah. And so it was like, goddamn. They're like, I think these motherfuckers use ChatGPT to do this. And
oh God, it's the blind leading the blind. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. And this is exactly where we're at. And so when you factor all this in, we get China saying they're gonna fucking hit us with a tariff. Nike is a company that's already been saying, we're not going to bring manufacturing. We're not going to make Nikes in America. We're not going to do it. It's still cheaper for us to pay the tariff and tack it onto the consumer than it is to come back to America and build all these factories to build to make goddamn Nikes here, because it's just too expensive. It's too fucking expensive. So they're a company that's already said that. A lot of these companies are now kind of really buddying up with China, and we're really going to just get fucked. I do think that this is kind of I do think it was inevitable, because our country as a sovereign nation is in so much debt that war is inevitable to resolve this. Like, it's an inevitability that there's going to be some major conflict that happens, and it's likely going to be somehow, maybe for some bullshit reason, but it's going to be tied to the fact that we owe people a fuck ton of money and they're likely never going to get it back. So this is a way to like start this process. This, I do believe, regardless of who's in charge, was inevitable. I just think this is the worst fucking possible time that this could have happened, because as you've noticed, because of these tariffs and all this shit that's been happening, like we're trying to start shit in Iran right now. Like, we're trying to start shit all over the place, and that's just going to lead to more problems. And this is the wrong person. This is the wrong administration to be in charge for this fucking shit. And it's not going to end well.
I mean, if it doesn't register for people, the existential threat that could happen with people not being able to afford things, or the country being in a state of bankruptcy, that we end up turning to war to resolve our problems, maybe it makes sense to you in the way of fucking the Nintendo Switch 2, which was
a travesty.
Was going to cost $459 or
$449,
something like that.
$450 basically.
$450 for the console itself, and now that price has been now essentially washed away, and even the pre-orders have been delayed to adjust for inflation, or rather for the tariffs. I mean, so yeah, we could very well be paying $600 for
a Nintendo Switch, man.
Yeah, so if it doesn't make sense to you in that way that you could potentially die.
yeah, you're not going to be able to play fucking Animal Crossing 5 or Mario Kart World or whatever.
There's the real reality. Give me convenience or give me death. Well, guess what? You're going to pay $200 additional fucking dollars just so you can play your Mario Kart World and your new fucking Animal Crossing.
And that new Donkey Kong fucking
Bonanza.
Yeah, man. I will say that game looks fucking cool as shit.
It does look fucking cool.
But the problem being, it's now all that shit's again. I don't know if this is because of the tariffs, but that shit's now $80. They have the audacity to try and charge us $80. And now what's it going to be with the tariff? It's going to be 30% fucking more. So it's going to be $100 for a base fucking game. I already was, in terms of economic value, I was already on the fence about paying $450 for a goddamn Nintendo Switch 2, right? Already I was on the fence. It's not a premium console. I mean, yeah, it's a handheld. It's also, you can play it on the TV. It does two things, but it's like, this is the only way you can play Mario. It's the only way you can play Nintendo properties. I was on the fence about it. Now that it's probably going to be like $600 or maybe even more, fuck out of here. Like, I'm definitely not buying that thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, if there's a way to get a Steam Deck and then just put like a Switch 2 emulator on it and just run the games that way. Not that I would advise that, but
yeah, you get a Steam Deck for $300. I mean, I'm just saying, dude. I right now, like, I'm literally also Games Workshop for fucking Warhammer. Where's that made? The UK. Well, that's gonna go up. I think the tariff with the baseline tariff's 10%, but they already fucking are talking about increasing that higher. I ain't paying more than what they fucking already charge now. I gotta pay an additional 10 fucking percent. Fuck, man, these shits are already a couple $100. I gotta pay an extra 20 or $30. Fuck that. Like, that's gonna cure my Warhammer addiction real fast. Like, all these tariffs.
Yeah. Get fucked with hobbies. I mean, your all your fun time is now gonna be stripped away.
Well, it's gonna be surviving and trying to find food. That's gonna be your new recreational hobby activity, is trying to not die. So, I mean, you won't have time for any of this shit anyways, if it makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
But
good times, dude.
Yeah.
Back to hunter-gatherer society.
Yeah, that's essentially. We're going to go back to local small villages, i.e. warlords, and, that's what we go back to.
It's going to be fucking just greenery encompassing the entirety of New York City. Deers running through the streets. Cars just all vacant. Abandoned everything. We're gonna go back to that time. We're gonna go to that like dystopian future.
Yeah, dude. When I heard that whole thing about how the city of LA is in a city, a municipality is in $1 billion deficit. Like, they spent all the money that they took in for everything plus $1 billion. How in the fuck? We're so fucked. So fucked. And that's a systemic problem that we have here, and there's really no way. Their solution was to try to spend their way out of it, and now you're double fucked. And yeah, we're gonna end up. I was at a thing earlier today, and they were talking about the Department of Education thing and people and blah blah and this and that. Oh, well, don't worry, Governor Newsom says he's gonna find the money to be able to do this. And I'm like, California's in a several $1 billion deficit. Where's he going to get the money from? He's going to pull it out of his asshole?
And 5 years ago, we were in a surplus.
Yeah, we were. And now we spent ourselves into oblivion. And now they're talking about, like, Newsom's claiming that he is going to try to make deals with these countries to exempt California from the tariff against them, against U.S. products. Because, I mean, realistically, the one thing that we do produce in California, we are literally 80% of the United, or 80% of the world's almonds come from the United States, or come from California, and 100% of the United States almonds come from California. So maybe he's got a little almond fucking money coming in, and he can be like, hey, listen, we'll give you some almonds, all right? Like, maybe we'll send you some avocados, in case I don't know.
It's not a terrible solution. It's like, if anything works to curb all these tariffs, is like, fuck, we gotta start somewhere.
But I think it's actually illegal to do that. Like, you can't, like, the states cannot, like, negotiate trade contracts. That's like the federal government's job, which is crazy. Because now
you're talking about what's currently going on, where so many rules have already been broken, and then you call the question.
Well, no, I'm just saying but like, again. The federal government is going to say, well, we can break all the rules because we make them. Like, so we can do whatever we want. You can't do that. And then now you get into that, what do you call it? What kind of type of American are you situation? All right. Like,
yeah, the great alliance of Texas and California.
Everybody was talking shit in that movie, but you know what, man? That's so unrealistic. No, it's actually looking pretty fucking realistic right about now.
Western forces. Or actually, I don't remember what they called the alliance between California.
I think that's what they called it.
The Western forces? Yeah, something like that.
So, anyways, that movie's like fucking coming true. It seems
a little bit.
So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I don't know, man. I like to believe that history tends to end up being on the right side, if there even is that. But like, tyranny doesn't last.
No, it definitely does not. But the time that it is there is fucking hard.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, as the old adage goes, all things come to pass eventually. So it's like, hopefully everybody will come out all right out of this, but it's hard to see a fucking light at the end of the tunnel right now, because we're in a storm right now, and who knows how long it's gonna last.
And the futures aren't really up right now, so I don't know what it's not up until I think like tomorrow, Sunday. So we won't know until fucking Sunday what the potential futures and potential stock market opening could look like on Monday. There's a lot of people saying that this is going to be Bloody Monday or Black Monday or some shit, and it's going to tank even further and wipe out even more value and money out of the stock market, because everybody's like, we got to get the fuck out. And what's fucked up the most out of all of this, oil's down to like almost under $60 a barrel. Okay, it's like the lowest it's been in a very long time. Gas is now, the price has increased. It's now over $5 a gallon here.
But it's never been cheaper.
It's never been cheaper to buy crude oil. And generally, crude oil, I remember back in like, this is 20 years ago, but when gas was like, $3 a gallon, this was the price that the barrel oil was at. It was under like $60. And when it was creeping up because of the Iraq war and like Afghanistan and all that shit right after 9/11, there was a period when it went up to like $120 a barrel or $130 a barrel. And gas was still barely touching $5 a gallon. How the fuck is it continuing to rise, and the base price of cheap oil? And this is where these corporation fucks are getting greedy, and they're saying, oh, cool, there's a crisis here. They exempted petroleum products from all the tariffs. It's completely exempted. There's no tariff on petroleum products. So they're like, oh, these tariffs, and they're like raising the price, and then like, well, wait a minute, hey buddy, there ain't no tariffs. And they go, oh, well,
due to instability in other countries or market evaluation,
right? And then you go, well, wait a minute, but oil's still cheap. Like, if oil was rising, then we'd understand how you had to. Well, what's that over there? Yeah, that's pretty much what's happening right now with oil or with gas. It's fucking fucked up. And I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. But anyways, this is gonna end in a bad time. Mighty Morphin Tariff Rangers have struck again, and I don't know. I think it's bad times. So, anyways, you got anything else?
No, that was funny.
Yeah, I know, I'm hilarious. Anyways, all right, well, that'll do it for us. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe our internet's gonna get shut off soon. I don't even know. I might not even have money to pay the internet, or to pay the RSS bill. So you may never hear from us again after this. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Maybe RSS will go out of business because their stock. I don't know. They have stock. I don't know if they're a publicly traded company. But who knows? Maybe they'll just have to shut down because they ain't got no money. Maybe they poorly invested in the stock market and they've lost they were in on this $5 trillion loss, and they're like, "Can't keep the lights on, fellas. We gotta go somewhere else." I don't know. But anyways, hopefully we'll see you again next week. Which I'm honestly not really looking forward to recording this next week, because I'm sure this week is gonna fucking be horrific. I mean, we're gonna have all bad news to report next fucking Sunday night when we fucking sit down to do this.
Yeah, we're gonna be using a Play School mic and like
yeah. In a week, like all the stuff we already own will somehow have just been repossessed or like stolen, like, you know. Yeah. Oh god. Anyways, you remember those microphones that they weren't powered, but like you talk into it and it's like echoing? Yeah. That's what we fucking recording on. Oh my god. Anyways, all right. Well, I guess I'll do it for us. Fucking A. We'll catch you on the next one if we survive this.